Oh, should we start all over again? Okay, for myself. Okay. All right. So I am going to, with my slides, talk about saving smartly or smart saving. Should I continue? So all along, I have been talking about how saving money is very important, right? The fact that there are three M's of money: making money, managing money, and multiplying money. And I have said that managing money is what helps you tame the money that you make. And part of managing money is saving money, right? So we want to go deep dive into how you can manage money and how you can understand saving. Don't forget that you cannot save what you don't have. So it is important to understand that you first of all make it and then you manage it through saving. And when we talk about managing money, it's not just about saving. Of course, you have to budget, first of all, which is like a plan. And I'll come to that as we go on in the conversation. So for you to have financial peace, for you to have financial security, you need to constantly put money aside. I was talking about how money is called a currency, derived from the word current. If you have ever been to the sea or ocean, you will know that current flows, like it moves. That's exactly how money is. Money is very mobile. Money is very active. So for you to make the most of it, you need to be able to tame it, right? And you can effectively do that through saving money, right? I also mentioned that a Japanese proverb says that if you save money, money will save you. Life is full of emergencies. Things happen all the time. Like you wake up and then, you suddenly have a headache. You have to buy a medication. Or you wake up and then something is leaking in your house that has to be fixed. Or you wake up and you're going and then your shoes suddenly cuts. Just basic things that you do not anticipate. For example, this morning, it rained heavily. Some people's cars would have gone bad. Some people's houses would have leaked because it was a heavy rain. Now, if they had not put money aside, what would have happened? So saving money literally saves you and it gives you financial peace, right? It gives you financial stability, especially for the long run. So you need to learn how to tame your money, how to manage the money that you make through saving. Now, what exactly is savings? When we say save money, or when we say have savings, very simple. I'm not going to go technical with this. What is savings? Or what is the art of saving money? It is the act of setting aside a portion of your income for future use. Simple. So the money that you don't spend is saved, or you save some and you spend the remaining. It is also putting your money in a safe place so that you can use it later for specific goals or unexpected needs, like I just mentioned. I remember driving one day on Third Mainland Bridge, part of life being a risk and, full of things that you do not expect. And somebody was driving me, a colleague, and as we were driving on Third Mainland Bridge, all of a sudden we just saw that a tire on a car on the other side flung out and then bounced so fast and it landed on our own car, almost smashing my windscreen. And of course, it brought the car to a halt. The car couldn't move. Right there on Third Mainland, it was in the evening, we had to get a towing vehicle. I was a working class lady. Now, if I had not saved money or if I didn't have savings aside, what would have happened? The towing vehicle guys would not understand anything, any language aside the language of money. Money is a very powerful language, right? I know that there's pressure and agitation about money. But money has an important part to play in our everyday lives. The only thing is that we shouldn't give it so much importance that it drives us to do nasty things. So I'm just trying to unbundle this definition. Saving money is the act of setting aside a portion of your income. Don't forget that I have many times mentioned that there are 3 M's to do to money. First of all, make it, then manage it, then multiply it. If you don't manage it, it will be gone soon. And then you'll be agitated, you'll be worried. So we're saying that out of the money that you make, you must always put aside a portion for future use. Why do you save money? It's in the definition. To meet specific goals later or to meet your unexpected needs. Sometimes you put money aside because you want to use it for some things that you would like to do in the future. Now, before I go on, I feel like telling you this. I know that a lot of people would say that what I am making is not even enough. And then you want me to set aside some money. Literally, that's some of the excuses I get when I talk to people, even young children too. They'll tell you my expenses are a lot. I want to buy this, I want to buy that. Money is usually never enough. Do you agree with me? Now, if money was always enough, why do you think very rich people would usually want to get more all the time? Now, who is the richest man in the world as of today? I think it's, I can't remember his name now. The owner of, yeah, Bennett. Thank you. Thank you. He's the richest man. But before then, it was Elon Musk for a long time. But let's even, deep dive a bit into the life of Elon Musk. Elon Musk was doing Tesla. Before I started to do Tesla, he had gotten into, he owned Square. I think it was Square, a tech company. He had done quite a lot, and then he went into electric cars. Yes, Square. I'll confirm that before we finish. And then he started to do Tesla. He's still doing Tesla, electric cars. And then all of a sudden, he bought Twitter. And then he does space. And then he invested in OpenAI. Now, literally, you think that these people are doing these things because they all love the world. They love the world. They can't solve the problems of the world, but they're also hedging their wealth. If one doesn't work well, there'll be something to fall back on. Let's bring it home to Africa. Who is the richest man in Africa right now? For those in the hall here. Dangote has recently been overtaken. But let's look at the income, what do you call it? Dangote's income and money management schemes. Now, his company is highly diversified. He's into cement, he's into sugar, he's into salt, he's into pasta, and then refinery, oil and gas. Guys, why do you think they're doing all of those things? Because they love you and they love me. Yeah, they're making the world a lot easier for us because there's hardly any home where Dangote does not sleep. You know what that means? There's salt, there's sugar. Some of your houses are built with their cement. So this guy is in our lives for good reasons. They keep hedging because anything can happen and it can affect a source of income. Listen, if salt and sugar are not selling, cement will sell. Do you see? So there's nothing such as I have this money forever. There are things contending against the ability to build wealth, inflation, currency risks. So if very wealthy people keep hedging and diversifying, how much more people that are just starting? So you need to learn the money game. And part of it is not just making the money, but understanding how to apportion the money. One of the questions people ask me when I speak like this is, all of these things you are telling us to save and budget, do very wealthy and rich people save and plan and budget? You are getting it wrong. I consult for quite a number of very wealthy people. When they sit with their resources, for example, a few years ago, one of my mentors, we sat with his bank statement and we realized that he had earned about 480 million naira over 10 years as interest on his fixed deposit. That's money management. That's him saving. So he put money in fixed deposit, and then that money was generating returns for him on a monthly basis. And then you are here, you're saying, all these things you're saying, do rich people manage their money? Do they save? Don't get it twisted. If they do not interact with their resources and finances, if they do not save, if they do not invest, the money will be soon gone. So they hedge. They look at their resources. They look at their companies. These guys don't sleep. They're literally looking at their finances to see how they can hedge. So when you see them saying, oh, this is now the richest man in the world, what do they use? Figures. Figures to ascertain their wealth, to ascertain who is doing well. So if those figures are not available, how do you then know who is doing better or who is now number one or who is now number two? So I think at this point, I should say that it is important for you to also interact with your finances. Don't run away from having conversations with yourself. Some people will tell you, I don't know maths. I don't like maths. I don't like figures. Listen, if you want to be successful at managing money, at making money, at multiplying money, you must like figures. You must necessarily like, maybe not maths, but you should be able to calculate how much money has come in for me. How much of it am I spending and for what? How much of it am I saving? Per time, you should be able to say, this is what I have made. And this is what I have spent. This is what I have left. So again, saving money is setting aside a portion from what you make. If you want to be successful with your finances, you must learn to save. And it is not about how little it is. Many of us are fixated on the amount. But hey, the culture, the habit is even more important. I have talked to people who would say, oh, I earn so little, maybe 40,000 a month. And I say, okay, save at least 10%. And they'll say, no, I can't. When I earn more, I will save more, or I will start to save. And I tell them that, listen, if you have not built the habit of saving money when you are making small money, chances are when you make much more, you will be able to save. So beyond the amount you are saving, it is important to cultivate that habit that you don't eat with your 10 fingers. Little is savings over time. They say a little drop, right, makes a mighty ocean. Let it keep dropping. Let it keep dropping. They're not dropping. Many of us, we just want to save at once. Then 6 months later, you come and say, but the one you are saving at once, by the next week, you are saving it. So build that, mindset, build that habit. So let's go on. I have said that putting money aside a portion so that you can use it later. What I've said in essence is when you save money, you are not spending it in the immediate. You see, you're putting it aside to meet a specific goal in the future or for unexpected needs. And I think I already talked about creating a savings mindset. It's important to realize that life is full of risks. Unexpected things happen. You don't have control over many things. Yes, you sleep, you wake up, you dress up, you go out, you go to work, you go to school. But listen, there are times that some people set out to do those same things and they are not able to accomplish them. Things happen, accidents happen, news. You see some very sad news. You're like, this person did not bargain for it. Even with you, sometimes little things that just destabilize your day and that will entail that you spend money. So it's important for you to realize and embrace the importance of saving money. And that's what I mean by creating a savings mindset, not focusing on how little the money is, not focusing on how bad the economy is. You know, all of those reasons we give for not saving money. Oh, the economy is bad. I'm making too little money. I don't understand how these old savings work. I have saved in the past and I don't know where my money went. You know, those very funny, flimsy excuses. But if you create a good savings mindset, it helps you. Why should I save? What can money do for me? Right? If you see savings as something that can help you purchase pieces of your future freedom, each time you put money aside, you're purchasing a piece of your future freedom. Because when anything happens, you can fall back to that savings. Now, let's go on. I will talk on this very briefly to give you a guide on how you can save. I already asked, and I think some people raise their hands that they already make money, which is fine. You must make money. And listen, you're not too young to make money. Warren Buffett is one of the, most experienced, most successful investors in the world. He started saving and investing money at 10 or even younger, right? At 14, he bought a 40-acre farmland. The man is, I think, 92 this year. He's going to be 93 or so, if I'm right, in August. He's still he's one of the 10 richest men in the world. He started very small. He would buy stocks. He would, buy things and resell. He sold Coca-Cola. He sold newspaper. So when we talk about savings, we are not just saying the people that work or the people that are old are the people that should save. Money doesn't have respect. And that's why everybody has bills. Even a baby that you give birth to today starts to spend money. Do you agree with me? Even dead people spend money. Hey, or you don't know. When somebody dies, you put them in the mortuary. They are gone, but they're still spending money. And then they will say, bring this, bring that. They want to do this. We want to dig the ground. Money doesn't have regard for anybody. Bills don't have regard. So you need to understand it. Right. So as we talk about savings, this is a simple guide on how you can start to apportion or put aside money for savings. Just a guide. It's not any specific financial advice. Sometimes this can be tweaked here and there, but this is what we generally teach. When you make money, apportion or allocate at least 50% of your money for your necessities. What are your necessities? You can chat with your neighbor to tell them. But I know rent is a necessity. Feeding is a necessity. Fuel is a necessity. These days, data is a necessity. I mean, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, data was a luxury. But these days, we literally run on data. Everything we do on data, remote work from home, data has become important. I'm not talking about those who use their data to scroll through social media for 20 hours in a day. For that one, you're on your own. But I'm talking about even working class people, right? Data has become an important part of our lives. So ascertain all of your necessities and then plan that 50% of your income should go into your necessities, all those necessary bills. And if I had a lot more people here, sometimes some people feel that some things are not necessities, some things are necessities. But hey, we'll get into it. Then 30% should go into your wants. What are wants? Wants are things that you can do without. Now, needs are things you can do without. If you don't eat, for a few days, you won't be able to function. If your car doesn't have fuel, you can't run it on water. If you don't pay rent, your landlord will throw you out. Those are basic things, right? They are necessary. But wants are things that you necessarily don't have to do them, and you will survive. So, for example, what do you think are examples of wants? And it differs from one person to another. I think ladies, I know I see a few ladies in the room, that extra shoe. You already have a black shoe, but because you have an event, and as ladies, there's never anything to wear. It's a common phrase among ladies. I don't have what to wear. You don't have what to wear, but your wardrobe is full. I don't have a shoe to wear. I must buy a shoe. I must buy a pair of shoes. I must buy a new dress. Those are wants. Because if you don't buy them, you will survive. But how about men? Do men have wants too? What are some of those things that men spend money on that are not necessarily important? Thank you. Men. Every Friday. I mean, some years ago, men would only go to joints on Friday. But these days, you literally see people at joints every day. Hey, God help us. Wasting money. But maybe, okay, so this is where this conversation gets more interesting. It might not be a waste. Because I like to tell people that, see, you are the one making the money. You need to take care of yourself. The system is designed to take from you. You pay your taxes, you pay your landlord, you pay your children's school fee. Everybody is saying, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, who is the one doing the work? You need to also take care of yourself. I have a friend, when she gets her salary every month, she goes to a restaurant every month and she would order food. And she would say, spirit, soul, and body, we have done it again this month. Well done, enjoy yourself. And I agree with her. Because if you are the engine, if you are not servicing yourself, listen, may we not die young. But everybody who dies, they are gone. And their money is, so take care of yourself. That's why we say, cut yourself some slack. Even though I tweak it. I think 30% is a lot sometimes for once. I think 20% is fine. But what are examples of ones? Take care of yourself. Women, occasionally buy yourself that lovely extension. Massage, right? Cinema, it's okay. As a finance coach, I don't tell people not to do those things, but I just say spend smartly. And this is a guide. So spend money on yourself, hang out, but don't let it become the norm. What people do is that they spend money on the things that are not necessary, all their money. Then the things that are necessary, they are not able to cater for it. And then it becomes emergency. You pay your rent once a year. How is rent an emergency? You pay your children's school fees 3 times a year. How has school fees become an emergency? You know that in January, you pay school fees. In April, you pay school fees. In September, it is fixed. But you don't cater for those things. You go to the joint every Friday. You eat pepper soup. You don't take food to work. You're always buying food at work. Those are the leakages. Apart from the fact that a lot of people don't make enough money. But today is not the day for that. I know that you're not. So I tell people, a lot of people don't have spending problems. They have money problems. But irrespective of all of these things, planning will help you. So wants are things that you may not necessarily spend money on because they are not critical for survival, but they are there to boost your self-esteem, to boost your, like servicing would do to a car, to help you perform better. And then the final one is savings, which is why we are here. Save money. I have told you a couple of reasons why you need to save. Right. Save money so that money will save you. Save money to meet your future needs, unexpected needs. Save money to meet specific goals. So I have said that each time you make money, take at least 20% of it as savings. Don't touch it. Now, saving your savings is not something you put aside today, then by next tomorrow you are touching it. Ideally, your savings should not be within your reach. You know, sometimes I see people online who would say, I got into one chance, or how do they say, and they took all my savings. How did your savings become accessible? I'll share a few tips for you. When you save money, your savings should not be in your bank account, where you yourself, even you yourself, be a thief of your savings, because you'll be removing it. Your savings should not be within your reach. So they will say, I entered one chance, they now took all my savings. Your savings should not be within your reach. You shouldn't leave your savings in your bank account. I will share a few places where you can put your savings so that you are not tempted. And even when you enter one chance, and I know you won't enter one chance, they won't have anything to take. So people save money, and then by next tomorrow they see shawarma, they buy it. They say you are saving money. This saving thing is not working. It's not working because you are not allowing it to work. So now let's talk about the practical things. Coach Shola, how then can I start saving effectively? We have talked about how you can put at least 20% or 30% aside. Now, to make it worthwhile and effective, what are some of the things that you can do? Number one, set up automatic transfers. Do you know that if you go to the bank, you can tell them, for salary earners, you can tell them that, oh yeah, my salary is paid on the 23rd of every month. Or I receive money for an invoice on so date. Each time my salary is paid, please do a direct transfer to a savings account. So automatic or direct transfers to your savings account, that's number one. Now, number two, let me advise you, this one works for me, that your savings account is also temporary, because most savings accounts these days don't pay any reasonable interest. But first of all, move it out. Then that account don't have an ATM card on it. Do you see? Like in the last 6 months, I'm not sure I've been to the bank more than once because everything is online. So what I did with my first level savings account, number one, it doesn't have internet banking. Number two, it doesn't have ATM card. So when the adrenaline is pumping for me to spend it, it means that I have to go to the bank. Where's the time? I'm not going to the bank. Oh, no time. Then, if I don't have the card, I can't withdraw from it, and I don't have internet access. So you have to put controls in place for your savings to work. Don't forget that I said number one, set up automatic transfers. And if you can't set up automatic transfers because your income is irregular, just make up your mind that each time you make an income, you will take 20% aside and send it to your savings account. Now, when the money lands in your savings account, make sure, it's an advice that has worked for me over the years. Make sure you don't have internet banking on it. Make sure you don't have card on it. So if you have card on it, that's when they will steal it. Let me tell you another personal trick that I do that helps me. So you see my account that has ATM card on it, right? Or a debit card. There's usually no money there. It is when I want to spend money, or maybe I want to buy fuel or anything, I now transfer money from where there's money to meet that bill. It's still part of being security conscious. Now, I'll talk about how you can safeguard your savings. And I'll tell you why. Something happened earlier this year. Somebody made an attempt at hacking my Facebook account. I didn't understand why. Why would you want to, yeah, maybe they wanted to take over my profile, but it was later I realized that it was deeper. We had been running some Facebook ads. And for you to run some Facebook ads, you either have money or a card on that account. Mind you, as always, the card that I use for all of this, my expenses, there's no money on that account. This is when I'm ready to pay, I move money there. Now, in this case, the card was a dollar card. So the person made an attempt to hack, gained access for just about, I kid you not, 10 minutes. Because something notified me that somebody is trying to access your account from Abuja. So I thought it was our consultant working on, so I granted access. I didn't know it was. It was the next day we realized that they had run ads to the tune of $350. But mind you, there was no money on that card. So it was it was showing as an outstanding on my Facebook. If there was money, if it was an account that had money, they would have wiped it. So we had to write Facebook to say, we didn't know. So they checked and saw that truly it was an unfamiliar account. And what am I saying? Scammers are wiser. You that is making the money, you must be smarter too, right? So set up automatic transfers. Number one, have a savings account that you don't have access to. It will take you extra effort to be able to take money out of it. That's number two. Now, the good thing is that these days, there are what we call money market mutual funds. If you go to any bank, tell them you want to do a mutual fund for savings. Mutual funds, yes. And they pay as high as, do you know your traditional bank accounts? They pay like maybe 1% or 2%. But these mutual funds, in some cases, you can start them with a minimum of 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. I'm not going to mention any bank's name. And they will give you as high as 10% or 12%. Many years ago, you could get those rates when you did fixed deposits. But these days, little money, you get good interest rate. So each time you move your money into that savings account, from the savings account, sign up for a money market mutual fund. It is low risk. It's like an investment, but it is good for your savings. So let me call it again. Money market mutual fund, because there are many types of mutual funds. There is equity mutual fund. In some cases, there is Sharia mutual fund. There's guarantee. Those ones may put your money in things that might be a bit of risky, medium risk to high risk. But money market mutual funds are low risk. If they tell you they're giving you 10 or 12%, that's what they will give you. And every day, your money will be growing. So go to your bank to say, I want to be able to put my savings into a money market mutual fund. And the good thing is that there are controls, like I said. You can't withdraw from it. It doesn't have ATM. If you want to withdraw, you have to liquidate, then send the money to your bank account. I think it gives that necessary control to help you save. Are we still together? For those in the hall, let me see your hands up if you're still hearing me and learning from this session. Lovely, lovely. Well done. Again, there are also apps these days that can help you save. I don't want to mention names, but I'm sure that we all, at one time or the other, would have interacted with some of these saving apps. They help you save, but just be careful. So anything that is subject to, technology has an element of risk. So be careful. I know there are fintech companies that provide saving goals or challenges. For example, I'm the lead coach and founder of Smart Stewards. We also have a saving challenge. We also have our app. But I know that technology these days, people are usually looking for means of just hacking and whatever it is. If you want to use a savings app, make sure you do your due diligence, you do your research, you find out so that they don't carry your money away. Remember, you are saving the money so that the money can save you in the future. If you put your money in something where they can just abscond, you'll have yourself to blame. But I know that our monies won't get into the wrong hands. Amen? Right. So you can use apps to also save. But if you ask me, I think that financial institutions, they are licensed, right? They're licensed by the CBN, they're licensed by regulations. You know that your money is usually safe with them. And for, of course, apps and organizations that are renowned, reputable, right? You can also save your money there. But before I go on into the next slides, do you know that there are other unconventional ways of saving? When we say saving, it's not necessarily putting money aside. When we say saving, there are other things that you can do to also save money. For example, you want to buy something. Some of us are fond of, when they tell you this is the amount, you are not cross-checking with other vendors. How many of you have bought something that you now realize it was cheaper somewhere? It has happened to me. Sometimes I feel like giving myself a knock, especially when the difference is a lot. Like in this economy, extra 10K, no way. So this is what I do. If I ask you for the price, I want to buy something, trust me, I will ask like 3 or 4 other people before I take a decision. I just don't want to know that I could have saved an extra 10K somewhere. You see, those are other ways of saving money. For those of us that are in school, or for those of us that go to work, you are buying food every day when you can take food from the house. Now, this is an area where a lot of us waste money. The way you can save money, even though it's not as if you're putting money aside, is if you pack your lunch. I mean, I've been working for about 23 years, and I can tell you that most of the time, I pack my food to work. Not even in this current economic climate. A decent plate of food will go for like how much? 5,000 to 7,000. I know the young ladies here have an idea of cooking, right? But with 7,000, there are some really big things you can do. I know things are expensive, but somehow it will still be cheaper. 5,000 to 7,000 can probably cook 3 meals. 3 meals for you. You buy pepper, you buy this, you buy that. But you go to, well, I know, right? I know things are expensive. The people in the hall are giving me a good vibe here, right? So please look for other ways of also saving money. And food is such a big area of leakage. Buy food Monday, buy food Tuesday, buy food Wednesday. How else can you save unconventionally? There are things you don't need. Hey, let me talk about this one as it came to my mind. Cable. Let me tell you, many years ago, I don't want to mention the name of the company, but my husband and I just decided that we don't need this cable. Now you're paying 12K per month. This was 6 years ago, 12,000. And it is still the same movies they will be showing. The same movie. You can guess the company I'm talking about. That I won't mention names. So we said, you know what? How much does it cost to pay for unlimited Wi-Fi? How about having unlimited Wi-Fi? Then you can stream. You can stream from YouTube. The children can watch really lovely programs. Even we. Then we got one additional, there's Netflix these days. So that's how we dumped that cable, whatever, and we started to save. So apart from putting money aside, there are other ways you can also save money. Because the money you don't spend is money saved. Are we still together? Please save money. We'll be rounding up soon, but let me go on. Still actionable steps. I want you, after this session or tomorrow, to go to any financial institution. I'm not saying go and open a savings account, because this savings account don't pay as much. I want you to save a seed amount as your starting point for financial freedom. I want you to make a commitment that from today, I'm going to start saving money. So tell them you want to open a money market mutual fund. And it might not necessarily be a bank. It might be an asset management company. Some of them, I know of a company that does 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira. Starters, yes. Some even do in dollars. Yeah. And it's low risk. And it is usually open-ended. That means when you put 2,000 today, if you have 2,000 tomorrow, you can add it. If you have 5,000 next month, you can add it. The responsibility for your financial peace is in your hands. So don't wait for the government. I tell people that you operate under at least 3 to 4 economies. Your personal economy, your national economy, your global economy. These days I talk about the spiritual economy as well. Nobody is coming to save you because even the government is also trying to reel out a lot of macroeconomic policies. But if you live in Nigeria, you would hear, I was coming, when I was driving down, I was with my friend, and then my AC just stopped working. Maybe it cut out or so. So we wound down, and then there was a bus beside us. They were arguing, loud voices. What were they talking about? The bag of rice is now so da, 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 da. A lot of these conversations are around how the economy is not working. If you control from now, complain from now till tomorrow, it might not change anything. But the little things that you do by yourself for yourself will make a lot of difference. So go and open a savings account from tomorrow and start to put money aside. No matter how, remember what I said, it is not about the volume or the quantity. It is about mastering the habits, building the muscles, and doing it. One day you just wake up, you realize, I saved 100K. It is not 500K. Oh, it is not 2 million. It is not 10 million. I know in another class I will talk about investments, but I tell people this. Saving is putting money aside. Investing is putting money to work. If you have not learned how to save, you cannot effectively invest because saving is the lowest hanging fruit. Take it aside. Master the habit. Cultivate the habit. But before we go on, let's quickly talk about emergency fund. An emergency fund is a subset of saving money. Remember when I started earlier, I said you save money to meet specific goals, or you save money to meet future unexpected needs. Life is full of risks, and I've explained it time and again. Like I said, my AC just stopped working. The next thing you take it to the mechanic, you say something has caught, you have to put gas. Did I plan for that? I didn't. Or my children's school, they will just say, there's inter-house sport. Well, we just resumed in January. We just paid school fees. Now you want us to pay inter-house sports where? Please be merciful. Right. Emergency funds is one of the things you can save money for. To say, just put this money aside for emergencies. Because again, your savings, if you don't have goals for it, anything can happen and then you just go and spend it. You should also have saving goals. I want to save maybe to go to school. I want to save to buy a laptop. I want to save to buy a car. I want to save to pay my rent. I want to save to relocate. So you must have saving goals. You're not just saving. Or I also want to save to create or to put aside my emergency funds. And listen, emergency funds is for what it is. Emergency. Emergencies is not to go and buy ashwebi. You know what ashwebi means? Your friend is doing a party and say, yes, you must buy the ceremonial attire. Yeah, I have savings. I have a It is not an emergency. Let your savings breathe. If you want to buy ashwebi, go and make more money to buy ashwebi. Leave your savings. Emergencies are things that happen. Medical bills. Sometimes, look at COVID year. A lot of people lost their jobs. and they couldn't feed their family. Those that had money saved aside were able to meet up, with their bills. So, hey, I'm from the Yoruba tribe, and we say something that you must always have something kept aside in case you hit the person selling eggs. You know what that means? Eggs are very fragile. If you are going and you mistakenly, run into somebody that is selling eggs, all the eggs will break and they will collect money from you. That's what emergency funds are for, So you must always, no matter how small it is, always have that money that come rain, come shine, you will not spend, except it is for emergencies. And do keep it in a place that you would have easy access to. Right. So your savings can also be towards having an emergency fund. And I like to tell people that there are two types of emergency funds. So what I'm saying is emergency funds is a subset of savings. You can save towards having an emergency fund. And I'd like to teach about the two types of emergency funds. The first one is the starter emergency funds. It might be 50,000, it might be 100,000, it might be more. But it is that money, what I call the brag money or bragging money, that if anything happens, you have that money that you can always you can always use for true emergencies. So how do you determine what you should have as starter emergency funds? Look at your peculiar family circumstances. If you are married, you have children, you should have a higher emergency fund, right? If you live in a place that that your house is always leaking or something, if you have small money, because like this rain that fell today in Lagos, hey, many roofs have been lifted. Lift up your heads, you roofs. You will need to spend money. It depends on where you're staying, the number of children you have. So whatever it is, always decide to have something aside. Then the fully funded emergency funds. I learned this principle from Dave Ramsey. Is an American financial coach. He said your fully funded emergency funds is you setting at least 3 to 6 months of your cost of living, so that in case you lose your job, you're not broke the next day. What's your cost of living? Remember that 50% that we explained when we're talking about budgeting. So you keep aside that 50% multiplied by 6 months or by 3 months. So if there's a loss of job, you are not stranded immediately. Some people lose their jobs and the next thing they are begging because they don't have anything. Money issues are serious issues. We must learn. And as I wrap up, I want to tell you this. Money is inanimate. That means it's a non-living thing. You and I, we are what? Animate. Should money therefore be smarter than us? No. You should be smarter than your money. Because I hear a lot of people say, I don't know where my money is going. Money that does not have sense, that is not a living thing, is now directing you and making you agitated. Francis Bacon said something, it's a quotable quote. He says, money is a bad leader, but a great servant, or a good servant. What does that mean? If you learn how to manage your money, you will enjoy it. But if you don't tame your money, understanding that it's a currency and it likes to move everywhere, it will give you a lot of headache. Look at it. When people are broke, they're always sad, always agitated, always apprehensive. Something that is a non-living thing is giving us a lot of headache. But as you're listening to this, I know you are making conscious and deliberate notes in your mind to start to get your finances in order. To recap, I have said that there are 3 M's you do to money. What are they? Make it, manage it, multiply it. Now, for the purpose of this session, I talked a bit about how to make money, right? Use your gifts and talent. But I dwelt a lot about how to manage it through savings. There are other things, though. You can budget, you can do a few other things, you can plan, you can track. But this class is about saving. And I didn't touch on managing money, which is investment, making your money to work. But you see, managing is the one in the middle. And it is the bridge between making money and multiplying money. If you don't learn how to manage your money, you will always be broke and agitated like me. That was earning so much many years ago. But because I wasn't able to save, I didn't know where my money was going. The money was just going everywhere. And I was always broke. No shame, always borrowing. But when you start to embrace some of these things that I have mentioned, you will learn how to manage your money. You will learn how to save. And I already also said, it is not about the amount. It is about cultivating the habit. For me, I moved from not being able to save at all, by embracing the right money mindset. I then started to save. I mean, these days, sometimes I save 50 or 60% of my income because it has become a part and parcel of me, just because I did a mindset shift. So you can embrace the right mindset and you can start to save money effectively. So money is here to help you live an amazing life. Don't be afraid of it. Always tell money, you are inanimate. I'm smarter than you. I'm going to manage you and I'm going to have a lot of you, right? And if you manage small, you'll be able to manage big things. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you that you can learn to save your money, and money will definitely save you when you need it. Again, my name is Shola Adeshaki, and I'm the lead coach and founder of Smart Stewards, where we teach people how to make, manage, and multiply their money through courses, webinars, resources, and much more. Thank you for having me, and God bless. I don't know if we are taking questions, right? Are you going to coordinate that? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ms. Adeshaki. Please, can we give her a round of applause? Yeah. So I don't know if you have question, you can raise your virtual hand. Do we have any question? American Center Lagos. Anybody have any question? Yes. Anybody from any of our spaces? Sokoto, Jigawa, Uyo, American Corner Ikeja, Bauchi. Okay. So Ikeja, let's have you. Please go ahead with your question.
You can pick up. Okay. All right. So my question is asking about health insurance. What kind of is that a
Please, can you move closer to the mic? We cannot hear you.
So my question is about savings, is about health insurance, which is also a part of saving for emergency. Can that be classified as an emergency fund?
Did you get that, Shola? I was talking about health insurance. That can we classify it as part of saving for emergency?
All right, thank you. So, in my opinion, I think health insurance should go into your necessities. Remember that budgeting schedule or budgeting percentages, 50%, 30%, 20%. And that list is by no means exhaustive. Yours might be 70%, 20%, and 10%. You might decide to save 10 or 20%, spend 10% on yourself, and then, 70%. Health insurance is important. So I think health insurance should go into your necessities. Now, when we talk about savings, saving is the money you are putting aside for things that you want to either do for your goals or for emergencies. Health insurance is most likely certain and sacrosanct. So you know that you have to go to the hospital if you have young children. So I think health insurance should go into your necessities and let your savings be, let there be no obligations. Let it be clean, let it be clear money that you're trying to grow. I should also say that some people can also save to jumpstart their investment. I will talk about investment at a later class, but health insurance should go into part of your necessary bills, and then, but don't be paying your health insurance from your savings. Make provisions for it already from your necessary bills, which can be part of the 50% or 60 or 70%, if you get what I mean.
Okay, thank you. We have Jigawa. Please go ahead with your question.
So good day to you all. My name is Abba Idrisasam from Window and America, Jigawa State. My question is that, please, sometimes I used to save the money. So at times some problem it may come, then I used to pick that money to use it. So I don't know how to save it. How totally? I need the advice of this thing about how will I save it? That's my question. I hope you get.
Can you help me explain the question? Maybe you should repeat it.
He said he used to save money, but he doesn't know how it goes. Can you help him?
All right. I love the question.
The money down.
So, you know, earlier on when I said, some of us will say, I don't know where my money is going. But your money doesn't have legs now. Your money cannot by itself leave your bank account or your savings account if you don't initiate it. So my darling brother, your money answers to you. You have to put controls in place for it. And I already gave some practical examples. Do you see? Go and open a mutual fund that you don't have access to. Put it in a bank. In fact, I see you're in Jigawa. You can even use the branch that doesn't have a physical branch in Jigawa, so that it will take a lot of effort for you. But truly, I mean, that may not work in these days of technology, because anywhere you can do anything. But listen, becoming financially stable and successful entails a lot of discipline too. Discipline is lacking. That's one thing I see. And again, discipline is something you have to cultivate. You have to work the muscles. So apart from you doing all of those things, if you're still not disciplined, some people will leave Jigawa to go to Maduguri to go and withdraw that money. You must see that, savings is a way of you paying yourself for your hard work. Saving is that money you are keeping for the future. So respect it. Cultivate the discipline. It might, like I said, money is never enough. Everybody wants more. If they increase your salary today by times 100%, you'll be happy, but by next month, you'll be complaining again. For some of us, our expenses will just go up. So money is never enough. That's why we need to just understand and put measures in place to discipline ourselves. So, number one, like I said, go to either a financial institution tomorrow or an asset management company. I don't want to mention names. Tell them you want to open a savings account that is not a bank account. Or better still, tell them you want to open a money market mutual fund, which is like an investment where you want to be putting your savings into. So money market mutual fund, do that. Then every month, put the money there. Don't have access to that account, even on your phone, so that you're not tempted to quickly withdraw. So put measures in place. There are other things you can save in, don't get me wrong, but saving is supposed to be liquid so that you can easily convert it into investments, which is higher, which is putting the money to work. Some people do they do cooperatives. And I think I like the idea of cooperatives because it even gives advantages. If you put your money in cooperatives, you cannot just go and withdraw it anyhow. You know now. You have to write in, you have to do so it's an extra layer of discipline, right? How can you also say? The most important thing is that reduce the access or eliminate that access, that thing that makes you go and touch your savings. These are the things I did. Like I told you, if you get my ATM card now, you are deceiving yourself because there's no money there. It is when I want to spend, I will move the money there. I don't mind. Call me Ijebu, call me Arcade. It has worked for me because even as a finance coach, I still have my weaknesses. Sometimes if I have too much cash in my wallet, I spend it. That's why I do more transfers, because if the cash is there, that's why something in traffic, buy it, I buy. But if there's no cash in the wallet now, I can't buy. But these days, even these people selling in traffic, they take transfers. Everybody has wised up. They will have POS in traffic. So the best thing is keep your savings far away from you and let it grow. Do you see? I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. We have someone from Oka. Oka, please unmute and ask your question. We cannot hear you. Unmute. Unmute. No, we can't hear you. Or can you chat it? If you cannot find your microphone, you can chat it. So we read out the question. So while we wait for Oka, do we still have anyone that have any question? Benin City, Oshogbo, Abeokuta. We can't see you. Switch on your camera so we can see you. Okay. Oka, are you ready? Are you chatting? Okay, let me see. Someone went to check for them. Someone was checking for him. Nobody's raising hand. Okay, great. Okay, Oka is chatting. So, yeah. Okay, we have Ikeja. Are you raising hand again?
Yes, we are.
Ora, please go ahead with the question.
Okay, my question is, for a person that is having a project that is always struggling between the income and the expenses, how could such a person be able to actually save for the two emergencies? Because you're having a project that you are trying to accomplish, and the income is not enough for this, and you are trying to set a balance between the expenses and achieving that particular project. How do one stay? You know, when you have that money, you know that the money you're having is not enough to do this project. You are looking for more money for that project, and now you are now stuck in the middle of, should I save out of this money that is not even enough for the project that you want to do? How do one goes about it? Thank you.
I struggle to hear the question though, but I think I have an idea. And I think all the things I said, even applies to business. I'm aware that there might be a couple of small business owners in the audience. The first thing is, just on a general note, is that you must learn to separate your personal finance from business finance. I don't have time to even go into that. So what that means is that you got funds for a particular project and it's for your business. Even if your business is your source of sustenance, you must also learn to put yourself on a salary so that the business runs as an entity and you run as an individual, first of all. So when you take more, that means the business is giving you a loan. When you put in money, you are giving a loan to the business. But having said that, the principles of income generation applies to businesses. More often than not, we all can do with more money. Everybody, And like I said, a lot of us don't have spending problems. We just have income problems. We need to make more. But when it even comes to businesses, the dynamics are different. When it comes to a business, there are more things at stake. For example, you're a caterer or a cake baker. You are supposed to do a wedding cake. And you are supposed to deliver a two-step cake. I was reading through my WhatsApp stories a few days ago. A friend was celebrating the first year birthday of a triplet. The caterer, the cake maker on the way to the birthday, the cake fell on the day of the event. Now, this person has collected money. He's waiting to collect balance so that she can pay off the people that she collected materials from. That's such a risk that she didn't see coming. So the celebrant said cake came here accidented. She collected it out of, okay, I understand, but some people would not collect it. How do you do it? That's an emergency that happened on the day. In such a case, you may have to quickly go to shops where they do cakes on demand and go and buy. Now, if you do not have money to do such, how are you going to do it? You can't show up and say, I'm sorry, the cake fell. You see that this emergency thing is part of our lives. So what I will say is, even though that is not the crux of this conversation, we all need to identify how we can make more money, because it will solve a lot. For small business owners, how can you diversify your income? How can you leverage other people's talents, other people's time? How can you partner? For those who are in a 9-to-5 job, what can you do at your spare time? Because expenses are brutal, unfortunately. And where your income is not adequate, you just have to make more money and also keep money aside for emergencies. I don't know how best to explain it, but it is what it is. So make more money, really. Still keep savings, because there will always be a reason for you to meet up with something. It's not as if you're spending it on, you're not Many people are not even in this economy. Many people are not flamboyant. They are not spending money lavishly. A lot of people are not even able to meet their own personal needs, like feeding and rent. So it's not a matter of extravagant spending. It's just that you need more money. But again, like I said, it's a mindset. Don't spend it all. And let me leave this with you. One thing I've realized in the course of my career, or since I started to teach financial literacy, is it's a principle that works. I just don't understand. You know, like they say, there are laws that govern the earth. When you save money and you commit to it, it will just attract more money to you somehow. I can't explain it. It's just a principle, because money will boost your confidence. But I think the trick is in that habit. You have mastered that habit. And then all of a sudden, you just realize that the saving is growing, the money is growing, and then more resources will come to you. So my sister, it is what it is, no matter how small it is. I tell people that whether you're investing 500 naira, or you're saving 500, or you're saving 5 million, you both qualify to be called a saver or an investor, but just do it.
Okay.
And then
Thank you.
I see that, just 1 minute. Some people, when they have money, they do all the expenses and they leave savings as a last. If you do that, you won't be able to save. See saving as a necessity. For those who are religious, people of faith, you can remove all your spiritual obligations. The next thing should be your saving. Then spend. But people want to spend and say, whatever is left is what I will save. Hey, you won't save for 20 years because it will never be enough. But always just take it. Because even with the 100% is not enough. So 90% or 80% won't hurt. Do you understand? I hope that helps you.
Okay, so we have the question from Oka in the chat.
All
Say,
right,
personally, I feel that savings is not profitable, especially in a country like this one. The money we save every day loses its value quickly. Since the value of Naira keeps decreasing, how do I save more effectively?
Well done. I could bundle that in many ways. But one thing I have realized is that saving money is always a stepping stone to doing more with your finances. And like I said, saving money is first of all putting money aside on a regular basis. Then investing is putting money to work. A lot of people want to invest, but they have not cultivated the habit of putting money aside. You just wake up one day, I'm going to invest 1 million. I'm going to invest, but you have not even put the money aside. That's on one side. Now, the essence of this class is for me to teach on savings. The next class, I will teach on investments, and we will take the conversation a notch higher. But remember that I said that there are even savings platforms or vehicles that provide reasonable rates. Listen, when it comes to investing, when it comes to want to protect your Naira, people promise different things. They tell you, come and do this, we will give you 30% in 2 months. We all know how it has ended in premium tiers, right? It's not better for you to put your money in a low-risk investment and be seeing it, and you're happy, than putting it in things that promise very high risk, high returns, but they're high risk in nature. So these days, actually, some of these savings platforms and vehicles sort of mirror low-risk investments. For example, a money market mutual fund will give you like 10 or 11%. You can check it out. In the same way, some low-risk investments like federal government saving bonds will give you the same amount. I am aware that 2 weeks ago, treasury bills were issued at 19%. The first time in a long time, or the first time ever. Because of course the government is putting out some macroeconomic policies to mop up money in the economy. But not, it was highly subscribed, oversubscribed. So not many people got into it. So in economics, we talk about what you call the real return versus the nominal return. So when they say 12% is the return on savings or an investment, that is the actual, that's the return they're offering. But the real return is that amount minus inflation rate. Let's say inflation rate as last time was 29%. So that's 12% minus 29%. That's minus 17%. The inflation rate is so high that there's nothing such as real returns. It's in negative these days. But it is still better that you're seeing your money. And you know what? The value is depreciating, but it is there. You're not putting it in things that when you need the money, it is no longer available. Right. Another way you can hedge or save, I mentioned it earlier on that there are mutual funds that are denominated in dollars. But I mean, an example, it starts with one of those banks starts with $1,000. How many people can afford $1,000 right now? So it can be a savings goal to say, I want to save up the Naira equivalent of $1,000 so I can put it in this dollar mutual fund. But to talk about how can we keep the value of our money, I will talk about that when we talk about investments properly. But this is for you to gain the necessary insight for putting money aside regularly. I hope that helps.
Let's put our hands together for Shola. So thank you very, very much for this very informative session. Can you hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's good. So we want to really thank you all for coming and thank Shola Adeshakin for giving us this. The tips she was sharing, I want to encourage you, make sure you hold them and put them into practice. Whether the inflation is going higher and higher, it's not for you alone, it's for everybody. All of us are under that same condition, except you have access to foreign Forex. But if you don't, if everything you own is in Naira, you are not the only person. We're all into it. And it's always better for you to listen to people who have gone into it and they're telling you how to do it. And I want to reiterate the point she said, having to put all your money in the card that you carry all over the place. One chance can chance you anytime. And I just hope we all learn lesson from this. And let's make sure that we apply some of these principles immediately. I want everybody to say immediately. Say it again, immediately. Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate everyone for coming. Thursday is another day. We're having our film show for Black History Month. I hope everyone has been coming. This particular Thursday, we are watching A Force More Powerful. How I wish you are going to be there to watch how people have engaged the powers that look so big and beyond them using non-violent methods, and they were able to overcome. So this time around, in the history in the US, Black history were able to engage using non-violent means of getting themselves away from all forms of segregation. And that's what we call civil rights movement. So we want to encourage you to come on and watch this movie with us. And when we get there on Thursday, we also have a time to share together. We hope you are going to be part of it. So thank you once again, Mrs. Shola Adeshakin, and for all the directors for helping us. We hope to see you on Thursday. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, sir.
Bye.